Miss Bovadier, nice to see you tonight.
My name can be hard to pronounce. I've heard everything from Miss Boobily Googly to Miss Bobadabba to Miss Bobadabba Miss Bovadier, just to be clear.
Hard getting you out of my mouth. Can't tell over the table, but I'm wearing your autumn collection.
I thought I had recognized some cuts, one of those pants, but I'm focused.
The game wore on. Estelle did her magic, and hand after hand went to Estelle, until suspicion started to fall on her, in which case, with all of the skill of a finely tuned greyhound running a race, she allowed some money to go back to some of the other players, until the suspicion off of her flew away. Then, slowly, subtly, she'd reel them in again, until finally it came down to the last hand. Miss Bovadier had lost everything. The only thing she had left to her name was the large brooch she was wearing on her own dress. She took the brooch off and put it into the pot. All of the other people folded. And it was down between Estelle and Miss Bovadier. Miss Bovadier played her hand, but Estelle took the cards.
Oh,
Gentlemen,
ladies, it's been such a pleasant night for me. Thank you for coming and playing with us in this great establishment, the mansion.
Without wasting any more time, she scooped up the winnings. She left. I followed her out, and the two of us ended up back at my apartment. Oh, you were brilliant, doll. You were brilliant.
We took it all.
Yeah, we did.
I couldn't have done it without you.
I forgot.
You gonna offer me a cigarette?
What's the matter? You got a sickness or something there?
The doctors, they say it's my lungs. They don't know why, though.
Whoa, look at you.
I'm nervous. I'm jittery. It's making me shaky, too.
Relax, it's all good. Baby, we're loaded.
Baby, that money's gonna be all yours.
All mine, what are you talking about?
I didn't have the heart to tell you earlier. I didn't want it to ruin your mojo. I wanted you to go in there fresh and clean and excited and optimistic, but...
You don't love me, do you?
I adore you!
Well, what's going on? What are you leading up to? Out with
I'm
it.
dying! It's that cough, you see? It's killing me.
Killing you? What are you talking about? You go to the doctor, you get some medicine, they'll fix you up. They have lots of medicine nowadays for stuff like that.
They don't have medicine for this.
Stella, you dying?
I am. And I have one last wish. I want to own that heiress's fortune. I want that company, because something you don't know about that Bovadier lady, I've been tracking her. When I was a kid, my parents, they worked in her factory. My mother would come home with bloody fingers from sewing, because you know that factory line wasn't a line then, it was all handmade. My father, he was a drunk. And so, it just killed them. It's her fault. I want her money. I want her company. It's the...
Why don't you sit down over here and take a deep drag on that cigarette? That'll soothe the lungs.
Yes. I can feel it's working its way through. Will you help me?
No, I'd do anything for you. I don't know how to get any more out of her, though. I mean, we won almost everything she has. I mean, the only thing she has left is probably the deed to the factory.
And that's what I want. Or blow it up.
I'll get it for you. I'll get the deed for the factory for you. You'll own everything. I promise, Estelle. You could blow it up or not, I don't care. But if that's what you want, that's what I'm going to do for you.
Thank you. It's the last thing I promised my mom before she died, is that I would get revenge on her.
The last thing I promised my mom is that I'd stop wetting the bed before I graduate high school.
Oh, we had such different childhoods.
We probably had different moms. At least I hope so, or else you're my sister, and that's gross.
Oh, God.
But you're not my sister, are you?
No.
And we had different moms, didn't we?
We had different moms
And different lives.
and different lives until we came together. Oh.
I'll get it for you. I swear I will. Or I'll die trying.
Thank you.
I knew I had to make personal contact with Miss Belvedere. So I walked out of the apartment. Death hanging heavy in the air. The one woman who I ever could love and ever did love being taken away from me just on the threshold of a life together. I knew Miss Belvedere had a private room at La Chez l'Orange, the most expensive French restaurant in town. She was back there now, she always was, but this time weeping over a cocktail for all the money she lost.
Oh, Father's gonna be so upset with me.
I walked in and watched her down her drink.
Another one?
She made it a double.
That's not good. I'm gonna be on the whiskey soon.
Miss Belvedere,
Can I help you?
you don't know me.
No, I don't. I don't know what you're doing in my private room.
I was at the poker game earlier. I was standing around here and watching.
Oh, so you were behind me. You saw that whole thing happen in real time.
I know that you lost everything.
What of it? What does it matter to you?
I'll tell you something, Miss Belvedere. When I walked in here, my intention was to seduce you, marry you quickly, have you sign over all of the factory deeds to me, and then kill you. Then give all of the deeds I took from you to the woman I really love.
And now you're gonna do something else?
Well, now that I told you, it probably wouldn't work anyway.
Be surprised. I'm quite low right now. I'm not sure I can stop anything.
Instead, I think I'm just going to be honest with you. Because I think that's what this world doesn't have enough of. It doesn't have enough honesty.
What do you have to say to me?
There's a woman I know, and she's dying. And all she wants before she dies is to own your factory. It's not worth anything to you anymore. You lost everything. In fact, you know the woman I'm talking about. She took all your money tonight at the table.
Why does it matter to her if she has my factory? She's dying.
Do you really want to know?
I am vaguely curious.
Because she blames your family for killing her parents, for working them to the bone. How about it? You ever stop and take a look at the workers in your papa's factory when you were growing up?
That was never any of my concern. I had nothing to do with that.
Is that right? Fancy clothes, all those horses you used to own and ride for pleasure, polo games, trips around the world. Who do you think was working hard making all of that money? There was an underclass underneath you working and dying and struggling and maybe trying to have a little bit of happiness in the world, but they couldn't because you and yours sucked it all up.
We gave those people jobs.
You gave those people slave labor and slave wages and you laughed at them for doing it.
What would you want me to do about that? I can't do anything.
Yes, you can. Right now, you have the ability to make up for it in one small way. You have a bankrupt factory. She already has 99.9% of everything you own. The only thing you have left is a paper deed to a title for a building. Give it to her. Give it to her and let her die a happy woman.
Sir, I don't know if you think because I'm an heiress, that makes me stupid. That is the one thing I have left in this world. You need to get out of my apartment right now.
One way or another, I'm gonna get Estelle what she wants, Miss Bovadier.
I will give you 5 seconds to vacate this premise.
I will only need 4.
5, 4. This isn't the first time I've been threatened over my fortune, but it was the first time I was broke when it happened. This was going to take some serious maneuvering, and I knew the one gentleman who'd fallen into my eyes earlier who might be willing to help me. And he had a tricky enough name that I thought he might know some folks. So I quickly went to find Sly, hoping that he'd be able to help me out of this predicament. He was sitting at the bar, drowning his sorrows. Just thought I should put the gun away so I didn't intimidate the boy. Sly, is that you?
Miss Bovadier.
Do you mind if I join you?
Oh, please do. Let me get you a drink.
Please. I drank maybe a little bit of gin earlier, so a little scotch more wouldn't hurt.
Tough night at the tables.
Oh, I'm sorry you had to see that. I guess I was a little distracted by something tonight.
Autumn collection.
Anything less than that wouldn't have distracted me, young man. So, you seem like you know a lot of people in these towns. Do you know any folks who might be able to kill someone? Or banking, or any other number of useful things, but mostly the killing some kind of part?
Am I?
Because I find myself in a slightly precarious situation. I was just threatened in my apartment by a man.
Who? Where? I'll go get him right now. What does he look like?
Really? You just go get him?
I know a lot of people. You're right. I know a lot of people.
This was going to be slightly easier than I'd hoped for.
Is it Taco Jimmy? Is it Ratso?
He did have the fake rat air, but I don't know his name. He said he knows a woman named Estelle, and she's dying, and she was the woman that stole all my money. He's in love with her. Do you know him?
I know who you're talking about.
Is that Taco Jimmy or Ratso Taco Jimmy? What is his name?
You're talking about Jeremy James Jambalaya.
Another southern wife. No him.
Listen, I shouldn't be telling you this. Gosh, I can't hold it in. I work for the paper, the Tribune.
Do you?
I do. I was sent in. I was supposed to get close to you, so I could get the scoop of story. And you provided one, and who goes in with their entire fortune and loses it in one night at a card table?
It does seem like I was fairly overconfident. But why are you telling me this? What does this help me?
Just something about you makes me want to reveal my true self, because I feel something for you. Yes, I do know people. I know a certain guy. His name's Ratso.
Oh, well, that's convenient that he's one of the other sly fellows that you know.
Yeah, he's been in the paper a few times for, well, he's a very deadly assassin.
You happen to know a deadly assassin?
I had to interview him.
I have one thing left to my name, and that's the deed to my factory. If this Ratso fellow can help me, I will share that deed with you. And we'll go into business together. And you can be my first male model in the underwear line. Make me millions.
I have to tell you all that stuff about business. That was just me trying to get into your inner circle.
Oh.
All I want is a chance with you. What do you say, Miss
You-
Bovadier?
You get Ratso to agree to the murder, and I will consider it.
All he wanted was a chance. All I wanted was a chance as well. Isn't that what everybody wants? just going through life trying to grasp for one little chance at a sunlight in the darkness of the day. On one side, my own death was being planned. On another side, the woman I loved was dressed in black, the color that I always associated with her. The blackness of death, or the blackness of Estelle. I didn't know which one I was going to consume first, but all I know was that I stood there that night, and looking in her eyes, I fell into a deep, dark blackness.